Hello everyone, I'm here to do my top films of the 80s ranking. Yeah, this was a really hard list. Films of the century, I mean, even though it was covering 25 years, we did it maybe partway through January, so you could add a few films from 2026. But yeah, even though that covered, let's say, 25 years, obviously the 90s just covered 10 years, but a lot of good films came out in the 90s, same with this century, but yeah, it was harder to narrow this down from one decade of the 80s, 10 years, than it was 25 years of more modern films. I've been tagged to do this by Ash from Popcorn and Horror. Sure, everybody knows Ash. Great guy, great YouTuber, good friend, pillar of the community, very relaxing. Like I called him last time, soporific, and I didn't mean that in an offensive way. That he's boring, he makes you go to sleep. But yeah, if I wanted to relax and have coffee time with Ash, then yeah, he's just got a mellow voice and a I was trying to figure the right word, um, relaxing aura about him, should I say? But yeah, he's tagged me to do this. I guess I meant to tag some people. I'm forgetting who's actually done it. I think Angelo from Wacky World and the Pang Films has been tagged by someone. I think Roy's done it or is gonna do it. Sam's done it. I'll tag Jodie from Jodie's Movie Realm. Obviously, if these people have already been tagged, you haven't got time to do it, whatever, no pressure. Anybody that wants to do it that I don't tag. Yeah, Jodie from Jodie's Movie Realm. I'll tag James from Vida X Forever. I know he usually makes sort of shorter videos just showing underrated slashers, and he pulls out all these like very rare, unheard of films. Like I say, no pressure, James, but if you want to do it, I'll tag Darren from Real Talk Yorkshire. Again, no pressure on this. Yeah, I mean, Ash tagged me, coming up 5 days ago, and I've only just got a chance to do it now. As you can probably see by the stack, kind of looks bigger than the stack is because one is out of a trilogy, a few are out of like big chunky sets, but I've still cheated slightly, as you'll see. I always do. Yeah, I think obviously I got my top 10, then I got some honourable mentions. Easy for me to say. Um, these aren't in an order as such. Obviously, number one is, without spoiling it, if you know me and the channel, you could probably already guess number one. In the 90s, I think I only had like, say, two horror films, and that is including the honourable mentions. That was like 15 or 16 films I spoke about. In the films of this century, I think maybe I had one horror film in that. Um, I had films like Old Boy, Parasite, but I wouldn't really say they're horrors, although they are kind of quite disturbing world cinema. Yeah, a few ones with violence, like say Dead Man's Shoes, but one classic as a horror, where the 80s, yeah, I knew I'd have quite a few horrors in this. So when I did the British films, I did top 10 or whatever British horrors, and I did a separate video of British non-horrors. Whereas with this, I'm just going to stick them all into one. I could have done eight, horrors and non-horror separate, but 80s for me is a decade where, yeah, a lot of these horror, sci-fi, genre films are up there with some of the like classic. Well, I'm not saying those horrors aren't classics, but what are regarded as like family films, well-received films. I'll show you them as I get to them. But yeah, no particular order as such, so don't judge too much on that. Yeah, it was hard to sort of, yeah, how do you differentiate your ninth favourite from your eighth favourite, really? Honourable mentions, I guess they're honourable mentions, not in the top list, so some big films here. Hopefully not to offend anyone, but just because the 80s is that stack that you'll see some of these and think, how did these not get in the top 10? Just rearranging them to check. Let me just double. 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so yeah, this is a pile of honorable mentions. Sorry about that. I did sort it ready, but in order to take the photo for the thumbnail, I put them in a pile and mixed them up again. So this, Ash spoke about, grew up on this, childhood staple, watched it hundreds of times. I do still enjoy it nowadays, but I think it's a case of I kind of overwatched it. Yeah, still enjoy it. Wouldn't really watch it on my own too often, but if I'm introducing it to somebody else, a mate comes around that's never seen this, let me show it to you, Labyrinth. Then, yeah, I'll show it to them. One of my ex-girlfriends, it was like her favourite film, so we used to watch it together quite a lot. And yeah, I'm not exaggerating, watched this hundreds of times as a kid, so it hasn't sort of worn thin, but yeah, I don't think I enjoy it as much nowadays as some of these others. But yeah, Labyrinth, this is a collector's edition on DVD. I do need to upgrade this. Ash has got the... Whoops. Ash has got the 4K set, but he... Sorry, I keep on disappearing out of the scene. I'm being clumsy. Ash has got the 4K set, but I think for the like special edition one, it's like 35, 40 quid if you can find it. This one, I've not watched this in a long time, so it always was one of my favourites. A few of my mates has got it as their favourite film ever. A few have got it in their top 10. I know a few people have watched it recently and didn't really get on with it, so I might be due a rewatch of this. But it's The Breakfast Club, directed by John Hughes. Not my favourite John Hughes film. I think I prefer Home Alone 1 and 2. Did John Hughes do Uncle Buck? Really enjoy that. But yeah, as far as sort of coming of age dramas, yeah, not that much happens in this film, but I always found it really entertaining. But yeah, I'd have to go back and watch it because I haven't seen it in a long time. Not sure how much. I'll still enjoy it now. Yeah, I'm talking 10 years plus, but always used to be one of my favourites, so I thought I'd give it a mention. The Breakfast Club. This used to love it as a kid. Still do enjoy it. I'm showing part 1 rather than part 2. I think part 2 was still the 80s though. Yeah, 89, so just in. But yeah, part 1. Watch it nowadays. Don't enjoy it as much as I did when I was a kid. It has aged a bit and that, but still fun. Still some funny moments. Sigourney Weaver really good in it. Bill Murray really good. Some of the effects in that still stand up pretty well. Safe to say, it still hasn't been bettered by any Ghostbusters films. Part 2 I enjoy, but not as good. 2016 reboot. Not a massive fan of that. The 2 more recent ones, Frozen Empire and Afterlife, I quite enjoyed, but yeah, not up there with this. So considering this is what, 40 years old, 42 years old, they can't better it with modern technology. I guess it's quite an indictment of its technical marvel. This one was, yeah, hard not to put in the top 10, but I'd say it's one I only watch every couple of years, so I don't wear it out. Sure, everybody knows this one. The Goonies. Steven Spielberg presents a Richard Donner film. Yeah, just really fun. Remember when I first seen this, just thought it was magical. When you first meet Sloth, before you really see him, and you just, there's something, what's he called, Chunk, like sneaks down into the basement of the Fratelli's, like, abode, shall we say. I don't think it's a house, it's like an ex, like, country club they've taken over. But yeah, you just see his shadow and hear him, and he's watching TV, and found that quite creepy. Once you see him, he's quite scary. Could argue he looks a bit like the Football Manager Ian Dowie. Bit unfair on Sloth, that. But once you kind of see him and you realise he's friendly and that, then yeah, I guess it's kind of a film teaches people not to judge someone on appearance because he looks scary, but he's actually a friendly guy. But yeah, love the Cyndi Lauper, Goonies Good Enough song, just sort of sets the scene. Lots of good actors, especially... Oh, don't tell me his name on here. He's the son... Oh, he's got a famous dad. James Brolin? Josh Brolin? I think it's Josh Brolin. Yeah, it kind of feels like a Steven Spielberg film, although it's not. But a really good sort of family adventure film. Again, this one was hard not to be in the top 10. I do enjoy them all, but this is the first part, so Back to the Future. So yeah, that's what I said about when the thumbnail looked big. I think you could probably see this bit in the thumbnail, but I didn't bother trying to hide it. Thought maybe tease people with at least one of the choices. Yeah, watched this lots as a kid. Watched it, I think, last year for the first rewatch in a long time, and yeah, really enjoyed it. Still stands up. Loads of iconic moments. Loads of great dialogue. Marty McFly, aka Michael J. Fox, I think that's the best role he's played. Definitely better than Teen Wolf. Christopher Lloyd played some other good roles like Uncle Fester, but yeah, this is the most iconic. Yeah, I'd just sum it up as iconic. They're saying it's filmmakers Steven Spielberg, Robert Zemeckis, and Bob Gale. Obviously, Zemeckis directed this, so I'm assuming Spielberg wrote it or something, maybe. Didn't actually know that. But yeah, just a family fun film, iconic, just so 80s. Yeah, what can I say about Back to the Future? Sure, everybody knows that one. Gremlins. What was this? 84, I reckon. Yeah, the year of my birth. I do enjoy it. It's not my favourite Joe Dante film. It's kind of one I do watch at Christmas and not really the rest of the year. When I first seen this as a kid, Gizmo, just so cute. I wanted him as a pet until you realise that if you don't care for him properly, which I probably wouldn't have at 5 years old or whatever I first watched this. Yeah, I remember I told the teacher in primary school about this and I got in trouble and she wanted to speak to my parents because she's like, why are they letting you watch a 15? So I was like, I better not tell her I've watched Nightmare on Elm Street and The Evil Dead and stuff, because, yeah, if she didn't like this, she ain't going to be happy about that. But yeah, my parents used to kind of The only thing they didn't like is what they called rude scenes, nudie scenes. So when there were sort of sex scenes, I had to like cover my eyes or behind a pillow. But the gore, the violence, the swearing, all that, they were fine with. It was really just sort of sex scenes. Zach Gallagher, Phoebe Cates, Hoyt Axton, Polly Holiday, Francis Lee McCain, music by Jerry Goldsmith. Yeah, sure, everybody knows Gremlins. What more can I say about Gremlins? You will see there is one Joe Dante, one higher in this list, and there could have been two, to be fair, but this isn't my favourite vampire film, but I just love the aesthetic, the music. Some people have said it's very homoerotic. I mean, when I was first watched this when I was about 15, I didn't pick up on that, but I'll show you it anyway. The Lost Boys. Yeah, sure, everybody knows this. Great soundtrack, one of the best soundtracks in any film. Is it the song by The Cure? I think that it opens with. But yeah, Jason Patrick, Jamie Gertz, Kiefer Sutherland, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, Barnard Hughes, and Edward Herrmann. Directed by Joel Schumacher. Yeah, probably Joel Schumacher's best film. I really enjoy 8mm, the film with Nicolas Cage, but this is a more iconic film. Yeah, I guess now it's a bit dated. It's 87. Some people could like see it as cheesy, but still stands up for me. But yeah, these vampires are just the coolest vampires you see. The bit when they're hanging off the bridge is iconic. The Frog Brothers, I always really like. They're like the vampire hunters. Yeah, like I said on a recent video when I spoke about Salem's Lot. No, it's when I picked up Fright Night on the Eureka Blu-ray, which is out of print. Yeah, I said Fright Night, Salem's Lot, and this are my three favourite vampire films. Hard to rank them because they're for different reasons. You know, Fright Night's a bit more fun. Salem's Lot's a bit more of a creepy, gets under your skin, long-winded kind of slow burn. And then this is it really a horror? I guess it's more of an adventure thriller along the lines of like Goonies, but a bit more intense. But yeah, not really much gore. What's it say on the back? It's just a 15, but don't say like gore or nudity. Yeah, sure, everybody knows the Lost Boys, but yeah, main thing about that I would say is the soundtrack. First time I ever watched that when it's set in Coney Island, yeah, it just gives you like certain vibes. So let me just double check that I've actually got 10 here and I haven't counted it wrong. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yep. Right. So these aren't in an order as such, but kind of put them, if I was going on favourite films that I'd ever enjoyed, then it would be slightly different because as a kid, you know, Labyrinth would have been my number one. But films nowadays, if I was to look through the collection, yeah, I think some of these, it's not that they're dated or I've gone off them, it's just I have kind of overwatched them. If I watched it, I would still enjoy it, but I don't want to get to the point where, you know, I've watched like Back to the Future so many times I don't want to watch it ever again. These are classic films, so I think it would take a long time. But yeah, for me, top 3 Spielberg, I'll give you a clue, and it's not Jaws and Jurassic Park, so they're from the wrong decade, but it's E.T., the Extraterrestrial. I know this isn't for everyone. Some people nowadays do find it not so much dated, but I think it's quite not an emotional. What would be the word Roy would use for it? Not emotional, claptrap. Sit. See if I can remember it whilst I talk about it. Yeah, I can't really think of the right phrase, but it's 1982. I think it was the last film that made me cry. And not when I watched it a few years ago, but must have watched this, yeah, let's say 6 years old. Without spoiling it, I'm sure everyone's seen it. There's a bit when you think E.T. is dead. And yeah, that bit, I remember my mum said I was like getting choked up and crying. And then when he came back, I was like really happy. But yeah, magical film, really well shot. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Mac and Me. It was like a cheap rip-off of this, but kind of with loads of McDonald placement. Once you watch that, then you realise what a classic E.T. is. Yeah, iconic music. I'm guessing it's John Williams. It's the thing about Steelbooks, it don't really give you any information, but John Williams scored all Spielberg's films, to my knowledge, maybe not his very recent ones, but the ones in the 70s, 80s, 90s, I think. Yeah, he did Jaws and he did it up to Jurassic Park, so I'm guessing this was by him. Yeah, iconic, the bit when he flies on the bike past the moon. E.T. Phone Home, I remember everyone saying that when I was a kid. The toys in that were like massive. Yeah, obviously by the time I got to watch this, it probably would have been out for like 6 years or so. Probably didn't watch it till like, or maybe not till like, yeah, 1990, so about 8 years or so. But yeah, magical family film. Still can't think of the word. Not sympathetic. What's the word when you something holds a lot? I can't think. But yeah, I know some people didn't love that, and without naming names, yeah, I don't think Roy was massive on that, though he isn't massive on Forrest Gump, because that's a bit too warm-hearted, I think. So this could have been higher up the list, but couldn't really put it over some of the other ones. But this is my favourite Joe Dante film. Yeah, I do like Small Soldiers. Obviously Gremlins, but I would rank this higher as The Burbs. So yeah, I find it funny. What a cast. Tom Hanks, Bruce Dern, Carrie Fisher, Rick Ducommun, and Corey Feldman. Genuinely funny. One of the first sort of entry-level horrors I kind of seen as a kid, where, yeah, if you're, I think I did a video a while ago, I might as well plug that. Or I did like entry-level horrors, if you're getting like your kid or someone into horror. So, you know, rather than get them straight onto Terrifier 3, you'll build them up with like Scooby-Doo, then the Addams Family, and then maybe Beetlejuice. Well, actually, that's a 15. Maybe then on to Burbs. But yeah, good twists in this. I like all the characters. The Klopeks are iconic, especially the main Klopek when he gives him, is it like a sardine on a cracker, and then Tom Hanks is choking on it. Yeah, one of Tom Hanks' best roles. Got some good chemistry with Carrie Fisher. Yeah, just like the sort of haunted neighbours next door. Are they evil or are they not? And it sort of bounces back and forward. I can't really say too much of some of the stuff that happens because it is spoilerish. But yeah, I just have a lot of fun with The Burbs. Always loved it as a kid. And when I showed it to one of my younger sisters, who was like 14 years younger than me, when she was about 14, she absolutely loved it. And now it's one of hers, if not her favourite film. So yeah, E.T. Sorry, I should be saying the numbers. E.T. at 10. Burbs at 9. Although, yeah, like I say, don't stick to this. It's just, yeah, what order do you really put them in other than the top, like, 1? These could swap around at any time. Return of the Living Dead. My favourite zombie film ever. My top 3 favourite horror films ever. Genuinely find it funny. So many good quotes. Lots of good gore. See if I can remember her name. Gallagher. What's the lady that basically is it? Linnea Quigley gets naked and dances on the tombstone. But yeah, when she's running around the graveyard, without being too crude, her bum is very lovely. Yeah, lots of good set pieces, loads of quotables, rabid weasels. Yeah, one I've probably watched this over 10 times, but just watch this quite often and it never get tired of it. Really good music in it. Directed by Dan O'Bannon, who wrote Alien and also directed Dead and Buried. I think he did another good one as well, but yeah, he's got a good CV. Hugh Gallagher, James Karen, Don Calfer. Yeah, so many funny moments. Yeah, it's a comedy horror. It does have pretty strong gore. I'm surprised it's only a 15. And lots of nudity. Same strong language, comic horror, nudity. But yeah, for me, this is my favourite zombie film. I obviously do love Day of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, but where those are a bit more serious, yeah, this for me is just fun. I mean, you could class Brain Dead zombie film, but I wouldn't class it as a straight up zombie film. But Day of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead, and Brain Dead, if you're casting it, would be my top 3 zombies films. Return of the Living Dead, sure everyone knows that. Another horror one, well, sci-fi, but with horrifying body horror. One of the best remakes ever is David Cronenberg's The Fly. I still haven't seen the original Fly, The Fly. But yeah, sure everyone knows this one. I don't have many steelbooks, but a few I do have. All the special editions are some of my favourite films. I'd say it's Cronenberg's best film. Maybe I prefer Videodrome. I don't know if that was 80s. I was tempted to have that, but Videodrome, again, not a film I'm always in the mood to watch, whereas I could almost watch this whenever. Jeff Goldblum and I'm having a mental block on her name. She's out of Beetlejuice. Long Kiss Goodnight. I always forget something when I'm doing these videos. I do usually record it when I get home from work at like nearly midnight, to be fair. See if I can just quickly find it, because otherwise it'll annoy me. Beetle. No, I can't even find Beetlejuice. Gina Davis. In The Fly. Yeah. I remember at the playground, everyone was talking about the arm wrestling scene when his arm breaks. Spoiler alert. Lots of nasty scenes without being too graphic. There's a bit when he's got some of his things that are fallen off in jars in his bathroom cupboard. One of them he keeps for posterity, I guess. But yeah, sure, everybody knows The Fly, the David Cronenberg remake. I will get on to the original eventually, but I don't think it's going to be better than that. I think, like a bit like Ash said, this was the first violent film I'd seen. So yeah, probably only about 4 years old. I think I crept downstairs really early in the morning before my parents were up. Woke up at what they call the crack of dawn at like 6 o'clock. Pressed play on the VHS. It happened to be at the very scene when we show you at RoboCop. Arrow Video. It's only the Blu-ray actually. I wouldn't mind having the 4K. But I got this when it very first came out. Very iconic artwork. In fact, I've got the poster of this up on my wall in the living room. But yeah, it was paused at the scene when Ed 209 malfunctions and he's telling the guy, is it Miguel Ferrer, I think, plays him, drop his weapons. You've got 10 seconds or I'll shoot. Even though he drops his weapons, he basically just machine guns him into a fountain. Very gory. Luckily, I didn't see the opening scene with the shotgun torture. That very brutal scene. I think when that was ever showed on TV when I was younger, they cut that bit out. But yeah, I remember Ash said about that. But yeah, luckily I didn't see that. But I did see the opening. Opened on the scene. Don't know how my parents left it paused on that bit, to be fair. But yeah, to remember seeing that was some of the first sort of graphic violence I've seen as a kid. I do remember it like the actual scene itself. I don't think like scared me, but I remember once I was in the outhouse like playing. The washing machine was on, and at that time, whenever I heard robotic noises, I always got scared it was Ed 209 coming. I mean, if I believed in Ed 209, I should have believed that Murphy would have come and protected me as RoboCop. But what's this lady's name in it? Let me know if you can remember it. Really good. I think she's in Dressed to Kill, maybe Breakdown or something. I'm having a mental block on her name. Yeah, RoboCop. Not only iconic, a good film, but the satire, I'll buy that for $1. Some really good special effects, still stands up nowadays. The scene when, I can't remember his name, one of the enemies basically gets dropped. I think he gets nuclear waste spilled on him, and then when the car hits him, he just like obliterates. But a bit before he gets hit, he's all like mutated and his fingers are all hanging down. Yeah, that bit used to like creep me out. But yeah, Paul Verhoeven's best film in my opinion, better than Starship Troopers and Total Recall, although those are high up the list. Another horror one, probably one that's quite predictable. 1980, so only just got in. The Shining. Sure, everybody knows this. Obviously directed by Stanley Kubrick, Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, Scatman Crothers, and Danny Lloyd. Yeah, what can I say about The Shining? Brilliant music, the best opening scene in any film I've ever seen, but especially in a horror film. Yeah, I still don't get how they like did that opening scene when the car's winding up the road. It's got that like creepy intro music that always reminds me of seagulls going up like the mountain road, and I don't know if it's a helicopter or a high boom, but they're just filming it from like hundreds of feet high. But yeah, it's such an opening scene. Oh, I've just noted this steelbook's got a bit, I don't know if you could see it, a bit of a scratch or a prang there. Yeah, that's the problem with steelbooks. Like I said, I don't own many, but I think when I first started collecting Blu-rays, Alien, The Fly, The Shining, E.T., yeah, a few of my favourites, I just kind of, I think the steelbooks were around the same price as normal Blu-ray, so I was just enticed by the steelbook. But yeah, they ain't great for display in front on. They can get scratched and pranged, as this is evidenced here. But yeah, sure, everybody knows The Shining. Probably my second best horror film out of all these. I've got a few actions to come, and then the top one will be a horror sci-fi, I guess you call it. Very hard to choose between the next few, as they are kind of like, well, I guess this is sci-fi, action, horror. Sure, everybody knows Predator. For me, the ultimate, like the most macho, machismo kind of film ever made. And when you see the cast of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Sonny Chiba, I think he's called, that plays Billy, the Native American. Apparently, he was like the toughest guy on the set. Yeah, Jesse the Body Ventura, who was a wrestler, but in this he's a sexual tyrannosaur, and he ain't got time to bleed. Yeah, so many good quotes. John McTiernan film, better than Die Hard for me in this one. Shane Black, I think he went on to direct films like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but he actually directed or wrote Predators, is it called? The one with Adrian Brody, one of the Predator films anyway. But yeah, iconic, sort of sci-fi, horror and action in equal measure. Loads of quotables, very male, lots of, as Ash said, oiled up muscles or something. Yeah, again, watched this one young, and the thing that stood out to me most about it, obviously the reveal of the Predator and lots of the gore and kills, but I'd say when he set in the traps, just really sort of intrigued me. Yeah, still hasn't been bettered. I did enjoy Badlands. I don't hate Part 2 as much as some people do, but yeah, don't come close to this. The original Predator, 1984, I want to say. 87, a bit later than I thought. So that was number 4. Yeah, number 3. This would be, I mean, all of these would be in my top 10 or 15 films ever. Well, I say all of them, the top, the top 5, really, from The Shining, Predator, probably both be in there. This one would. So there's a bit of story. I basically got this on DVD. First Blood with Stallone. Used to just call this Rambo when I was a kid. Never actually realised it wasn't called Rambo. It was just called First Blood. Yeah, a bit of a story with this. I basically bought the Blu-ray in CEX probably a year ago. Got it home and realised they'd actually put First Blood Part 2 in. So I still got that somewhere, but obviously it's in the wrong case. So I do need to upgrade this. Yeah, I'll look at getting the 4K. Kind of waiting for the big box set. I think there's one in I don't know the tin it's like a tin if it's steel, but it looks a bit like an army medic box or something. But yeah, that comes down in price. For me, this is Stallone's best film. Prefer this over Rocky, Cliffhanger, any of the later stuff he did. Not just a good action film, but yeah, I think Roy sort of said once, this is a story on how not to treat people. But yeah, just great acting, great script, dialogue, setup. I think my granddad I know he used to love this. I think at one point he did actually count how many kills was in this. And I think he said Rambo, First Blood Part 3 maybe had the most kills. But yeah, just one man in the woods using his army skills. Was he from Vietnam, I want to say? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, one man just surviving against so many. The bit when they've got him trapped in is it a hut, a stone building, and he sets a bomb and blows the doors off or something. Yeah, I haven't rewatched this in I'd say about 4 years, so due a rewatch of this again soon, to be fair. But yeah, my favourite Stallone film. Yeah, I kind of had to cover Arnie and Stallone. I don't have any Jean-Claude Van Damme in here. Jackie Chan, yeah, I guess he's for me the 2 biggest action stars ever. Arnie and Stallone. It's actually directed by Richard Crenna, I want to say, or is he just starring in there? Yeah, it doesn't really seem to say. All the actors and things are good, but one of my favourite roles is David Caruso. He's the young, what are they the sheriff's men, I guess they're called. Sort of gingery guy, went on to be in Session 9 and other good films. But yeah, sure everybody knows First Blood. Sylvester Stallone. I mean, in fact, Rocky, although I do like it, I think the original Rocky was 77, so it wouldn't have got in there anyway. Very hard to choose between First Blood and this as my second. But yeah, First Blood in number 3. Sorry, I keep forgetting to tell you. Lucky I'm not a mathematician. And then this will be number 2. Before, I don't know if it's even in my top 10 when I had it on DVD or Blu-ray. But since watching this 4K, let me show it to you, The Terminator. The 4K on this is just stunning. One of the best 4Ks I've ever seen. The music amazing. The colours amazing. It's not too digital where it's too glossy. It's still got a bit of the original grain. They've not digitally remastered it. I think with some of the classic Star Wars trilogy, at one point they did digitally remaster some of the effects. But I could only say one slight criticism of this. The scene, if you can see him there, when he removes his eye, doesn't look great. It's sort of practical effects, but rather than try and doctor it, they've just left it as it is and it still works. Yeah, great score. Who does the score? It's not really giving me a lot of information on this. Oh yeah, it does here. It's obviously starring James Cameron film, Arnie, Michael Biehn, Linda Hamilton and Paul Winfield. Special effects by Stan Winston. No, I still can't see who did the music. Quite a lot of the time I don't really seem to put that, and for me it's quite important who did the score. Let me know if anyone knows, but maybe it's James Cameron did it himself, but obviously a little da-da-dun, very iconic. You could argue this is kind of a slasher film to a certain extent, just some how Jason, Michael, Myers, they don't speak, they're just a force of nature. The bit when he goes into the police station with his shotgun and he's just wiping out all the police without saying anything. I think he drives his car through the front windows. Yeah, you could argue it is like a bit of a slasher, really. I'm guessing in 1984, yeah, the year of my birth. Some good films came out, and 107 minutes. Strong language, bloody violence, and horror. Only a 15. I'm surprised it's not really an 18. I think a lot of these films maybe were, but in the sort of cold light of the modern day, they're not as brutal as we sort of once thought, or compared to some of the stuff you can see nowadays. But yeah, for a while when I was younger, I think I would have ranked Terminator 2 above this, Judgment Day. And yeah, would have probably ranked Predator, Rambo, First Blood, The Shining maybe above this, before I'd seen this 4K. But yeah, this 4K really elevated it to another level and put it as my second favourite. Then first favourite, you can probably already guess. I'm not going to talk about it too long, because yeah, anyone that knows this channel will know this is my favourite film ever, The Thing, John Carpenter. I always say I won't say anything about it, then I do, so this time I'll just try not to talk about it. But yeah, number one for me. We watch this, I say all the time, it's hard to watch in the summer because I like it when it's got that winter atmosphere. Brilliant score, brilliantly directed, Carpenter's best film, my top horror film, my top sci-fi horror, if you want to class it as that, although Alien is very close. Obviously, Alien 77, I want to say, so it didn't make it into here. Aliens, I like it, but wouldn't even be in my top 16 as honourable mention. Find it quite long. It's a good action film, but for me, just not a par on the original Alien, not really close. So yeah, not just my favourite film in general, so favourite of the 80s, favourite horror, favourite John Carpenter, favourite Kurt Russell, favourite film ever. Yeah, I must have watched this over 20 times. Every time I watch it, you discover more things. But yeah, like I said, I won't talk about it, so leave it there. So yeah, The Thing at number one, sure, that's not a surprise. I would go back over I always put them out of order once I put them on here, so I can't show you what they were to recap, but hopefully your memory's better than mine. Right, it didn't take too long, 32 minutes. So yeah, Jodie from Jodie's Movie Realm, James from Vida X Forever, and Darren from Real Talk Yorkshire. No pressure, but if you get time or you want to do it, or you haven't done it, or you haven't been tagged, so yeah, been busy recently, so not had too much time to be catching up on people's videos and commenting and things. So yeah, a bit out of the loop on who's done what, but that's the people I'll tag, whether they want to do it or not. Anybody else that wants to jump in, if I don't tag you and you watch this or whatever, then you've got my permission, should I say. Yeah, I'm going to go now because I can't even say my words properly anymore. Right, thank you for watching. Go and check out the other people that's done this video. I know Ash has done it, Sammy G's done it, I think Roy's done it or going to do it. I'd like to see Angelo do it. I think he's already been tagged, but yeah, Angelo, I reckon, would like a lot of these 80s films because seem to be his kind of niche, is like martial arts, action, rowdy kind of films. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Goodbye.